we have to address the stock of the moment now, Bajaj Auto. Those sales numbers have clearly, surprised the street on the downside. Rajiv Bajaj, MD of Bajaj Auto, now joins us on the phone line. Rajiv, hi, good morning. Good morning. The market is really disappointed with this export number. Do you think this Nigeria factor is hurting you now? We spoke about it earlier, the currency factor and the fact that, you'll see how it goes. Anecdotally, are you seeing that's now hurting you a bit?
Well, let me put it like this. The story of February really is the story of the issue with exports. And that can be really brought down to three of our major markets. One is Nigeria, the second is Sri Lanka, and the third is Egypt. So let me give you some numbers to put it into perspective. If you look at exports as a whole, up until the previous month, exports were growing at 22% year on year. In February, there is a negative growth of 20%. So it's very odd, to have such a dramatic change from plus 22 to minus 20. And the reason has been this. In two markets, in Nigeria and Sri Lanka, it has been more of what I call as an acute situation. In Nigeria, it is brought about really by the disruption due to the election. It's not so much due to the forex, because between a retail price increase and adjustment in distributor margins and our own prices, we've managed that. But because of the disruption due to the local election, there has been a disruption in all aspects of the business, whether it's the imports at the ports, the assembly, the distribution, etc. But we are already seeing it coming back. For example, in the month of February, we clocked a retail of almost 35,000 motorcycles and almost 4,000 three-wheelers. So that's coming back quickly. Similarly, in Sri Lanka, there is a gap of 30,000 motorcycles because, again, there is an acute situation. The government changed. And the new government is taking some time to process the business that was promised by the previous government. So there again, we are given to believe now by our distributor that from this month, those orders should be coming in. So I think all that has really happened in February is that in a couple of these very big markets, we've had delays due to local situations. I'll just finish quickly on Egypt. Egypt is more of a chronic issue. As opposed to the acute issue in Nigeria and Sri Lanka. In Egypt, basically the country has no money to buy motorcycles and three-wheelers. And this is not new to February. Egypt is one market you would observe through the year has been very volatile for us. There are months when our export to Egypt has been zero. There are months when it has been 15,000 motorcycles and three-wheelers. So Egypt I don't see changing in a hurry. But I think Nigeria and Sri Lanka will normalize from this month.
Rajiv, can you just tell us what the inventory levels are currently for the export markets, if that's the case? And there are some reports indicating that, the production at your Aurangabad plant had come to a halt or had been reduced. And for your three-wheelers, you had in fact stopped production for some time. What's the status on that? And if you could confirm it for us?
Yeah, as far as inventory is concerned, we carry very little inventory because everything that is made to order. It is made basis confirmed LCs, so containers are waiting and goods are shipped out every day. So we really don't carry any significant inventory at our end. Distributor inventories are between 4 weeks and 12 weeks depending on where the distributor is. If it's somebody in Colombia, then if you include everything that is on the high seas, that may well be 3 to 4 months of inventory, but that's normal. That's always been the case. As far as production in Aurangabad is concerned, yes, we have had to cut back over there for these two reasons, because we have a motorcycle plant there and a three-wheeler plant. So the three-wheeler plant was affected by reduction in orders for three-wheelers from Nigeria and Egypt. On Sri Lanka, we were actually fine as far as three-wheelers are concerned. In fact, there was a slight uptick in three-wheeler volumes out of Sri Lanka. And on motorcycles, again, all our exports to Nigeria and Sri Lanka and Egypt go out of the Valus plant alone. And that's why this deficit in motorcycle exports in February had to be mirrored in lowering of production at the plant in February.
Okay. Rajiv, let me go back to the export question, because clearly, as you yourself said, this really has been the story of the month of February. What makes you confident that things will be back to normal, especially in Nigeria? Because, there is this whole currency issue which we still haven't seen impact of. And do you think you still remain competitive in markets like Nigeria, and it was just a one-off? What gives you that kind of confidence?
Simply the track record so far. It's not the first time that we have witnessed disruption due to elections. It has happened before. Let me give you some numbers. When we budgeted Nigeria volumes for this year, we just discounted one whole month, because we had no way to know when elections would be exactly. In fact, you might know that it is now postponed from Feb to March. But we had cut out 1 month completely, because we knew that is the nature of the beast. It will cause that kind of disruption. So we had budgeted for about 455,000 motorcycles to Nigeria this year. And at the end of March, we would be achieving that number.
Okay.
So we are actually on plan. If you look at our overall volumes also beyond Nigeria, exports at 1.7 million at the end of February are 16% higher than the 1.45 million approximately last year. So that's one issue. And once the election passes, there is nothing in the marketplace which is going to deter us from achieving our volumes. There is no competitive issue at all. In fact, now the Naira is at about 204 to the dollar. We are budgeted at that. Our prices are adjusted to that. The distributors' margins are adjusted to that. And retail price has gone up already, if I remember right, about 5 weeks back to 121,000 Naira, at which we have retailed almost 35,000 motorcycles last month. So demand is not the issue and competition is not the issue.
Okay. All right. But what's happening with the domestic market, Rajiv? Because if I see on December motorcycle sales, it was down 6%. January, it went down 12%. And this month, it's down 21% for your motorcycle volumes. Tell us what's happening with the domestic market, and give us a sense in terms of what maybe March is looking like. Will we see an improvement in March, and even your market share?
Sure. The domestic market is in trouble, has been in trouble since November. I have said this repeatedly that there are manufacturers who are pushing a lot of stock into the trade, and we are not one of those. And if you run a check with different dealers, you will find out the facts for yourself in this regard. So as far as we are concerned, when we have built 115,000 motorcycles in the month of February to our dealers, we have built exactly the quantity that they have retailed. The reason we feel confident going forward, for example, for March, we have set ourselves a target of 155,000 motorcycles, is because of two reasons. One, the new Platina launched in January and the new CT100 launched in February have both been very well received. And we are ramping up production of that strongly this month, I think, to about 30,000 for the Platina and 20,000 for the CT100. So I think this is going to do very well for us at that end of the market. And starting March, we start the launch of a whole range of new products off the Pulsar platform, starting with the full-fed 200cc sports Pulsar this month, to be followed by another in April, yet another in May, so on and so forth. So that is a segment of our strength, the sports segment. And between now and June, you will see us launch 5 new products into this segment. So I think on this basis, we are going to witness now a very strong volume growth and market share growth in the domestic market. I just hope that this is not negated by the trouble we have in the export market.
Indeed, then that's something that the market would hope as well. Rajiv, final question then. I remember you had told us some time back that don't look at the three-wheeler sales on a month-to-month basis. It could be volatile. But for the next financial year, what kind of growth numbers can you envisage for three-wheeler sales?
You mean for our total three-wheeler sales?
For your total three-wheeler sales, yes.
I may not be in a position to tell you that now, but I can share this with you very, very approximately. We hope to finish at about 1.8, 1.75, 1.8 million vehicles this year for exports. very approximately. I don't know the exact number. And I think we see the opportunity to target 2 million vehicles next year as far as exports are concerned. That includes, of course, motorcycles and three-wheelers. In the domestic marketplace, I would envisage about 3 million vehicles between domestic and export. So I think next year should be a record-breaking year, close to 5 million vehicles for us between domestic and export.
Okay, fair enough, Rajiv. We'll leave it at that and wish you luck for the coming months as well.
Thank
so
you
that's
very much.
Bajaj Auto. That stock is down around 3% at this point in time.